everybody. So today I wanted to talk about this hide and drink leather phone sleeve. Great little case for that extra protection for your phone if you're rough and tough and rugged. The big thing and the reason why I got it is because my phone goes and lives in my pocket that sometimes has my keys in it. Most of the time it has my wallet in it. Sometimes I've got some loose change in it, and I don't want that change hitting up against my phone screen or getting squeezed against my phone screen. Most importantly, the camera lens side of my phone. I don't want anything happening to that. I like to take care of my stuff. I value a phone with a really good camera capabilities. So, the idea of getting this little leather sleeve was what I wanted, and I searched and searched and searched for all over Amazon, and that was the one that I liked the most. But they only made this guy, the Hide and Drink leather company, only made that guy for the iPhone 6 and models of that phone models of that size. And my phone, this Galaxy phone, is much bigger of a phone than the size that they made this for. So guess what? You can stretch leather. Yes, of course you can stretch leather. Surprisingly, a lot. It's a little bit of a tedious process. It takes time. You can only stretch so much so far at a time, and you have to be very careful about the stitching. And that's one thing that I'm going to say that this company did a fantastic job on the stitching of this leather case, so that I could stretch it as much as I did and had no issues with the stitching coming undone. So that's bravo. Thank you so much for great stitching. So, trying to speed these things up. Obviously, the case does not go and cover all of the phone. To me, that's okay. This is more than half of it, and it's the important part, so I can shove the camera lens bit in there and not worry about all these other things that want to live in the same pocket with me about my day are not at risk of damaging this part, most important part. So what's cool is, and again, this is very simple, very straightforward, but it's a brilliant way to do it. Instead of having to shove, cut pieces of wood that fit in there that, taper into a wider dimensions and stretch it out, because this was the first piece that I used, first piece of wood that I used and mashed in there, shoved in there nice and hard and worked into it to try to stretch it out. This was the first piece of the process, and look how that's how much I was able to stretch this little leather sleeve. So started with this, and then I worked my way with throwing popsicle sticks, your wide popsicle sticks. I'd throw a whole bunch of them in here and squeeze them in there and wedge them in there on each side and stretch it out this way. And then I went and I cut another piece of wood a little bit bigger than this one, and that was twice as thick, and shoved that in there. You wet the leather with warm water. Doesn't have to be hot water, just warm water. Soak it good and get it good and wet for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you put your little pieces in there and work them in and work the sleeve around them, and then let it dry 90% of the way, and then you take the pieces out, the wood pieces out, and let it dry a little bit the rest of the way, and then soak it again and start with a new pieces, larger pieces. So I did that 2 or 3 times, but then came up with the idea on the last little bit, ending up with something real thick to get that last extra bit of stretching done. It got to the point where, this piece was, a full piece, and shoving that in there and getting that in there was a real pain. And I didn't want to scale it down and sand it down more and end up having to make another square and making a fourth step in this stretching process. So, brilliant idea is to cut it so that you're inserting a wedge. So the pieces are cut, and the wedge is cut just a little bit bigger than what you cut away from this, and so then it's really easy to throw this guy in there, and you see how the wedge is right there. And the cutout, it worked great for the design of this sleeve, is because they did a cutout and stitched here for being able to get your charging cable to your phone without the phone having to leave out of the sleeve. So yeah, made the wedge so it went in like this, and just pounded it in, and that pushes it apart and stretches it out. So that worked fantastic. And then you have, at the end of the whole project, you have this nice little wood dagger for taking care of your zombies and vampires and whatnot. No, just kidding. But it also made it easy then to get it out once my leather sleeve was dry. So now I just need to put some leather conditioner stuff on it, and I'm good to go. And that way I have an extra protective sleeve for when I'm taking this sucker in my pocket or in a pack or whatever, that it gives me extra protection for my camera lenses in the important end of my phone. So, and it's great because when this is in my pocket with my wallet, all that protection, not a whole lot more bulk, because I do have a very thin case on this phone right now. We'll see how well this phone case lasts durability wise, but the fact that it doesn't cover up the whole phone is great, because these kind of being up next to each other stays in my pocket pretty well, and I can easily pull this out of the sleeve now, and the sleeve stays in my pocket, and it's nice and wide the way I stretched it, the size that I stretched it to. No issues doing that, getting that in and out, and this stays in my pocket. So it works out fantastic. It's a method that I very much recommend, and I was super happy with it. The Hide and Drink leather company that they sell on Amazon, well priced, super good quality, build quality, good leather, stretched really well, and the stitching held up to that much abuse of that major stretching process. It would be great if they would this company would make these sleeves for your larger 6.5 inch screened size phones. Because there's quite a number of this size phone out on the market these days, and I mean, they make such an awesome leather sleeve for it. They should make more, in my opinion. So, I hope that this was beneficial in learning about this whole wedging process with the wood and stretching your leather. So, take that for what it is, and I will catch you guys next time on my next video. Thanks a lot for watching. See you later.